June 1st, 2022. This should be the date when this video gets uploaded, just so we can date the video and have a good benchmark as to everything that we're gonna be covering. So it's no secret that Rise of the Beast is taking, well, a long ass time to get here. And very soon, we're about to reach the 1 year mark away from the movie. So needless to say, with a gap that big, you'll figure that we wouldn't know quite a bit about the movie and we'll be mostly in the dark about what's gonna happen, what characters are gonna be in the movie, how they're gonna look like and stuff like that. Well, surprisingly enough, we know a lot about the movie. So in my channel, I cover Rise of the Beast quite extensively, whether, official news, some speculation, theories, leaks from the set, reveals, and all that kind of stuff. Needless to say, it's been a fun ride, but it's also been kind of a painful ride, since because of the movie's long ahead of release date, Hasbro has, instead of giving us, bits and pieces here and there, they've been feeding us breadcrumbs, and it's up to us to put the pieces together and basically get ourselves excited. Needless to say, it's been a painful process. So in this video, in honor of being a year away from the movie, I wanted to do a big compilation of everything we know about the movie so far. Now, I'll be covering some fan speculation, but I will be doing anything too outlandish, like talking about that really dumb quote-unquote leaked script about Scourge being an evil Optimus Prime from the last night timeline that came back from the future to make sure that the events of the reboot happen just like they did in the Michael Bay universe. That's really stupid. We're gonna be ignoring the very outlandish stuff that really doesn't have any evidence or any backing, aside from someone on the internet being my uncle works for Hasbro and they told me the plot of the movie. Okay. I want to do a little announcement before we all go on to, and this is a bit of a personal thing. Recently, my dad kind of injured his leg. He's fine, it's nothing too severe, but he's using crutches and he's in constant pain. And needless to say, he can't work or drive, so it's kind of up to me to take care of the, duties of the house in the meantime while he's recovering. And needless to say, it's been a very, stressful job, just being here and there, keeping up with everything that I was doing on top of, taking care of the extra responsibility. It's been kind of stressful. And I don't have as much free time to work on these videos as I had a few days ago before this happened. He should be recovering in about 2 weeks, so expect a slowdown of uploads in the upcoming weeks. I'm just saying, until he recovers, until I can find more free time to work on stuff. So if you guys don't see me uploading much or even being that active on Discord or my Twitter, it's because of that. I'm just very busy and I can't dedicate as much time to any of that as I would really like to. But hey, I appreciate you guys watching these videos, frankly all my videos, and continuing supporting me. It's very much appreciated, and I hope you guys continue to stick around once my schedule starts clearing. But anyways, that's enough for now. In this video, I'll go over everything, and I mean everything we know about Rise of the Beast, since there's still a lot of people out there who still don't quite know everything that's going on with the movie. So in this video, I'll be covering all of that. So first off, we're gonna start off with the big announcement. On June 22, 2021, oh my god, that's almost a year away, we had our first official reveal of the Transformers Rise of the Beast title along with the cast. As far as we know, our main characters for the Autobots are Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, who's gonna have 2 different vehicle modes in the movie, his regular 2007 Camaro, and an off-road variant that suspiciously looks a lot like Shatter's vehicle mode. Mirage, who's gonna transform into a Porsche. And before you ask, the reason why he doesn't have his G1 vehicle mode is just because that vehicle driving in the streets is not only unrealistic, but it's also illegal. So that's why he doesn't have it, so please stop whining. RC, who transforms into a Bugatti bike. And Wheeljack, who transforms into a van. It's a bit of a weird choice, but honestly I kinda dig it. Our main villains of the film are gonna be the Terracons. Not much is known about them. There's some rumors that they might have some kind of affiliation with Unicron or something or a higher power. But as far as we know and as far as we can see, they're basically space poachers that are hunting down Autobots, Maximals, Decepticons, Mercenaries, Terracons. Okay, well, maybe not the last one. The characters that we know are gonna be part of the Terracons are Scourge, Nightbird, and Battletrap. I'll talk more about their individual looks a little later. It's also pretty much confirmed that the Decepticons and Predacons are gonna be in the movie. In fact, very recently we actually got the reveal that apparently our main cast of Predacons are gonna be in the movie. Beast Force Megatron, Pterosaur, Dinobot, Tarantulas, and Scorpona. No sign of my boy Waspinator just yet. This reveal came recently by part of like this little promotional like material for Rise of the Beast, like some of the merchandise, in which we see a symbol depicting our known Maximal cast, which consists of Optimus Primal, Eraser, Cheetor, Rhinox, and Crescent, who hasn't been seen or announced just yet. But we know because of leaks that he might actually replace Rat Trap in the film, or he just might be a working name for Rat Trap. That still remains unconfirmed, but he has been listed in the toys, so we know he's gonna be in the film. The Decepticons are also gonna be in the film, but we don't know how many, and we don't know, to what extent. According to interviews by the creator and the producers of the film, it looks like the Decepticons are gonna be sitting this one out for the most part. We're still gonna see a few of them, but they don't expect them to like play a major role in this film. Which leads us to the next big question. Is this film a reboot or a sequel to The Last Night? The Michael Bay universe, honestly, it's over. We're not gonna revisit it again, at least not in movie format. This movie is a sequel to Bumblebee, and that's how they've been labeling it. A sequel to Bumblebee, so therefore it's part of the, reboot universe. Now, the reason why people get confused and think that this movie is like part of the Bay universe is because Paramount hasn't denied that it isn't part of the Bay universe. Now, the real reason why Paramount and Hasbro are not, straight up saying this is a reboot, this has nothing to do with The Last Night, has nothing to do with the Bay universe, forget all of that, this is a reboot. It's because they wanna get as many Transformers movie fans to see this movie as possible. So they're not gonna say outright something that's gonna alienate the Bayverse fans, but they don't wanna risk, new audiences and people who are frankly tired of the Bay formula to see this movie. They want old fans and new fans and fans who are giving up on the franchise to see this movie. So they're kinda keeping it vague, so that way they can attract as many people as possible. But just know that this movie is in fact a reboot. It's gonna borrow some elements from the Bayverse. In fact, a lot of the characters and their weaponry takes a lot of cues from the Bayverse. And now I'm gonna talk about the general look of the characters. Optimus Prime is gonna keep his look from the end of the BB movie, not much changes there, but he's gonna take some motifs from his Bayverse counterpart. One of the toys basically revealed that he's gonna have his iconic, Energon sword from the first 3 Transformers movies. And another toy that got recently leaked kinda hints at the fact that Optimus Prime is gonna have a second vehicle mode in this movie, a much tankier military truck that he might use at some point. While this hasn't been confirmed, it's just something that the toys are kinda hinting at, and if the toys have this, then more often than not the movie also has this. Like I said, Bumblebee's gonna look a lot like it did in the BB movie with minor changes, but something that's coming back from the Bayverse is his iconic plasma cannon. The toys revealed that Bumblebee is gonna have his cannon back, and even some of the most recent toy leaks seem to imply that. RC is gonna look a lot like the BB movie again, but instead she's gonna have more of a reddish color to her. Laszlo Van made a pretty good render as to how she's probably gonna look like. In a recent trailer leak, and yes, we'll talk about the trailer in a little bit, don't you worry, basically confirmed that RC is gonna have her wheels for legs from the Bayverse back. It's not gonna be the exact same thing, but she's gonna have the ability to turn her, leg into wheels. And I'll talk more about the trailer in a second. For those of you who are curious, don't you worry, I'm gonna go over the characters first. We still don't really know how Mirage is gonna look like. There hasn't been any clear renders or people talking about having seen the concept art, but it was confirmed by Steve Capo Jr., the director of the film, that Mirage is gonna have multiple vehicle modes. So far we know that he has a Porsche, and it's suspected that he might also have a bluish Beetle for a vehicle mode in the film. We don't know just yet, but it was seen on set on multiple occasions, so it's kind of implied that this might be the case. As for the Maximals, well, we still don't really have any clear looks to them. Laszlo Van made some really good concept art out of the supposed concept arts that people got to see in the reveal event for Rise of the Beast. They're said to be very techno-organic, in which you're gonna see a lot of technological parts, but also some organic parts. I think Optimus Prime was probably the closest one to how he's gonna look like in the film. And if you don't believe me, just look at the recent Optimus Primal toy leak. It's not 100% copy, because obviously this is just supposed to be a gimmick toy that's not very detailed. But you can tell that, the similarities are there. A lot of the Maximals are gonna look very old and kind of, steampunk-esque, because it's heavily implied that the Maximals have been on Earth for a very, very long time by the start of the movie. It's actually implied that Scourge and the Terracons have been hunting them down for a very long time. If you take a look at Scourge's Grail, and now we're gonna move on to the Terracons, there's a lot of insignias of every single faction with one exception, the Predacons. And more on that in a second. So it's implied that the Maximals have been on Earth for a long time, and the Terracons have also been on Earth for a long time hunting down the Maximals, hence for why I called them space poachers at the beginning of the video. Despite his vehicle mode looking a lot like Dark of the Moon Megatron, Scourge is said to be very tall, scary, like he's gonna have a very, apex predator type of build with a giant electric claw and fire coming out of his chest. This Scourge is not taking design cues from the original G1 Scourge. This Scourge is taking design cues from basically every version of Scourge, G1, RID, even Cybertron with the whole flame motif. Nightbird is said to look very ninja-like, and it was mentioned by the director that she's basically gonna be kind of a backstabber. She's gonna be backstabbing people, she's gonna be changing sides. It's even implied she wasn't always a Terracon and was probably a Decepticon before joining the Terracons. I made a drawing of my interpretation of how she's probably gonna look like in the film. Again, it's most definitely not 100% accurate, but it's just how I think she's most likely gonna look. And this is based on actual concept art that the people in the Hasbro Rise of the Beast reveal event got to see and describe how she looked like. As for Battletrap, we know he transforms into a truck, but we don't know exactly how his run mode's gonna look like at all. Everything we have right now is guesswork. Now, Battletrap, the OG Battletrap, was actually a Duocon, a character that was made out of two different vehicle modes. Basically, the original Battletrap had a car and a helicopter, they both combined and formed the taller robot. So, people are thinking that we might see the same thing in Rise of the Beast with, this new Battletrap incarnation. People refute this theory by explaining that there hasn't been any helicopter seen on set, so therefore this is false. But I want to say that there also hasn't been any giant robotic animals on set, so therefore the Maximals must not be in the movie. And as for the Predacons and the Decepticons, we don't know how they're gonna look like just yet. A very popular rumor that's going around right now is that we're also gonna see a Titan Transformer. We don't know who exactly, but a Peruvian news source, in case you guys don't know, the movie's being filmed, it's taking place in the 90s, New York and in Peru, a country in South America. A Peruvian news source basically said that they were filming in an ancient, Incan fort, and in there, they said that a giant golden transformer was supposed to erupt. Now, the only giant golden transformer I can think of will be the ARG from the War for Cybertron Kingdom series, but we haven't gotten any sort of confirmation from the actual production of the film about, there being a giant Autobot in the movie. As far as we know, this is just speculation. And speaking of speculation, during the Peruvian filming, we see plenty of scenes. We see the Maximals potentially being disguised under, an ancient Incan, celebration parade. We see the Terracons roll out together. We see the Autobots roll out together too. And one of the most interesting parts of the whole filming in Peru was the appearance of what we think is an Autobot or a Terracon army. I'm not kidding. In one scene, we actually see Scourge running away from Optimus Prime and a bunch of other vehicles. We don't know if this is supposed to be, civilian vehicles, but it looks like they're chasing Scourge or at least following after him. And after all of them appear on camera, Mirage slides in at the end to also follow them. Something else I think was quite funny about the Peruvian filming is that the streets of Peru were not designed for high-speed chases, and plenty of times the Optimus Prime and Mirage vehicles crashed on several locations. It's completely fine because they have replacements, but I thought that was kind of funny. But speaking of crashes, while they were filming the action scenes for Rise of the Beast, we saw Optimus Prime ram over Scourge through a wall, and I want to say that's so cool. I can't wait to see this in the movies. This is the kind of thing I want to see in Transformers, like action over the top, cool action like this. And then Mirage joins the battle to help Optimus Prime, like Hot Rod style. It was from the Peruvian filming that we basically found out that Wheeljack and Battletrap were gonna be in the film. And of course the whole, Terracon army. Shortly after Optimus did the ramming and Scourge did the crashing, the filming for the Peruvian set was wrapped. The filming is done and now they're gonna go into the editing stage of things, making the robot CGI, editing the scenes together, stuff like that. And then we enter a new era in Transformers ROTB's history, and that's the leak era. Because shortly thereafter, we started getting toy leaks. Leaks that said that the toys were coming, that the first few waves of ROTBs are going to be very gimmick based. We're not exactly going to get our standard deluxe Boy Girl Leader class toys. Instead, we're going to get more of the Bumblebee, movie variant, in which they were more gimmick, based for kids. Which there's nothing wrong with that, and the actual, more high effort, toys like the Generations class will come later, probably in the form of Studio Series. But it was on November 10, 2021 where the biggest blow for us movie fans came. Rise of the Beast was officially delayed until June 2023. I can't begin to express how annoyed and how disappointed people were by the time this happened. According to leaked sources, and I use that with quotations because they can't exactly be confirmed, Paramount did this without Hasbro knowing, and Hasbro got really pissed, so they had to recall the toys and postpone some of their plans they had planned. And apparently, according to Laszlo Van, another Transformers YouTuber that covers the movie, at one point during the start of the year we were gonna get a trailer for Rise of the Beast, but it was taken down and it was postponed by Hasbro before it ever got uploaded, due to the movie now being a year plus away. And then came the painful era of just waiting and waiting for news to drop. We got the occasional toy leak that basically told us, hey, the toys are coming, sometime in the future, just be patient, guys. The leaks basically implied that we're gonna get our first look at the Transformers toys, which will in turn tell us how the characters look like, around April. April came, nothing happened. Then the online stores changed the release date for the toys to May, and May just ended yesterday, so again, nothing happened. And that's because Hasbro doesn't want to release the toys too early, because they're kind of afraid that if they start promoting the movie just now, it's gonna kind of kill the momentum. And honestly, I can kind of understand, but I'm still pissed, okay? But since Hasbro won't release the toys, certain people who do the act of stealing actually leaked some Rise of the Beast toys for us. Mainly Optimus Prime, Optimus Primal, and Bumblebee. There are more toys out there that will surely be leaked in the upcoming days and the upcoming months. But these are the very first Rise of the Beast toys, and they tell us how the characters are gonna look like. But for now, Hasbro just keeps pushing them back, which just, opens the chances for them to be stolen more often. But anyways, now I'm gonna talk about the most important leak of them all, the first trailer. Now, the first trailer was leaked at CinemaCon to some people that got to attend. Now, no one was allowed to take, images or footages of the trailer itself. It was very quick, very spur of the moment, and according to the people who saw it, they saw Optimus Prime, RC, and Bumblebee, and also probably Mirage, but the reports kind of vary and conflict. Now, the trailer was shown at CinemaCon about a month ago, and we haven't heard anything new about it since then. There hasn't been any new reports of it coming soon or anything like that. People kind of assume that we will see it in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because usually after a trailer gets shown in CinemaCon, that's how long it takes for it to be made public. But nothing has happened yet. So recently, what there was Licensing Expo, we were expecting to get some kind of thing for Rise of the Beast, especially since Hasbro had a tendency of revealing stuff for, the Licensing Expo in previous years. At the very least, I was expecting a poster. At the very most, people were expecting a trailer. And surprise, surprise, we got nothing. Yeah, I was very disappointed, and so were a lot of people. I was not even counting on the trailer showing up, and I still feel robbed. Idiots! But we actually do have our first look at Rise of the Beast, believe it or not. And it came in the most unlikely of places, Disney. Now, Disney recently released the Chip and Dale movie. I swear I'm getting the Transformers. Now, you're probably familiar with the ugly Sonic, it appearing on the Chip and Dale movie. Now, this was done because of some kind of agreement between Paramount and Disney, in which, Disney got to use a bunch of the characters and CGI for their movie. And apparently that also included new CGI for the Transformers Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. In one of the scenes of the movie when they're fighting the main villain uses Optimus Prime's leg and he turns it into a roller skater. And this is technically our first ever look at Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime in a movie. And before you guys are saying, that's just the BB movie Optimus Prime's like. No, actually, It really is the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. This is actually straight from the film. Whether this means if, Optimus Prime is gonna have the ability to have wheels for legs, kind of how RC did in the BB movie, it still remains to be seen. That the fact that this came from Disney is just bonkers. Some of you guys might not care. This is crazy. Honestly, our first reveal ever that doesn't come from Hasbro or Paramount. It comes from a completely other company that's a rival to the company that makes Transformers products. Can you guys see why I think this is nuts?
Ironic.
But regardless of that, we are still waiting for a trailer. So far there hasn't been any news on anything being dropping very soon. If I were a betting man, I'll say we'll definitely see something by the end of the year. It's still a bit hard to say if we'll see anything in the upcoming days, weeks, or months. But knowing how Hasbro has been handling the release of the movie and the sporadic, sort of information we get every few months, my guess is that we're in for a couple of other months where we're slowly gonna be drip-fed content for us to, digest and, make do with that. At least until they finally have the guts to release the actual trailer. Now, to end it all off, I'm going to talk about what we know about the story. The story takes place after Bumblebee and is going to follow Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and the other Autobots as, they rendezvous once again, but this time they're going to be fighting the Terracons. We do know that Optimus is going to have a small fight with Scourge at the beginning of the film, and of course again towards the end of the film with the help of the Maximals. We still don't exactly know the ins and outs of the story. All that we know is that the Autobots and Maximals team up. Optimus Prime in this movie is gonna be kind of young. He's not quite the Optimus Prime we know from, the G1 cartoon or even the movies. He's gonna kind of grow into this movie. He's gonna learn from Optimus Prime, who's gonna be a more experienced fighter. Someone who's very jaded and has seen his friends die over the years, thanks to the Terracons. The journey of the Autobots and the Maximals is gonna lead them to meet our human characters, Noah and Elena. We don't exactly know how they're gonna factor into all of this, but we do know that they're gonna interact with the Autobots and Maximals quite a bit. And this time around, unlike the previous Bay movies, the Transformers are gonna have the center spotlight. We're not gonna see the US military take all the glory like we usually do with the Bay movies. This time, the Transformers are taking center stage. And honestly, I'm very grateful for that. And if you guys are still afraid that we're gonna be missing out on the Bayverse action, don't you worry, Michael Bay is back! But just for action scenes and a bunch of consultant work. He's not exactly directing like he usually does. And Rise of the Beast is gonna be the first movie in a new trilogy that they're planning out. We know nothing about the upcoming movies except that, what's rumored that they're working on a Cybertron prequel movie that's gonna be animated and centered around Megatron, and a sequel to the Bumblebee movie, maybe Bumblebee 2. We still don't quite know, everything's kinda still up in the air, but it's just rumors for now. And finally, just to end it all off, because this has been going on for way too long, is that there's also a Transformers Rise of the Beast ARG, well, quote-unquote ARG, we still don't exactly know. I made a video about it in which there's this account. An ARG is an alternate reality game, by the way. Basically, the story of the movie is being told in the real world, and currently there's like an account that's basically doing some Rise of the Beast ARG stuff. It's clearly Transformers, we know that for a fact, but we don't know if it's exactly Rise of the Beast related, or if it's related to any of Hasbro's other products, like Transformers Earthspark or whatever else they're making. It's all very sus, and we don't know quite a lot about it. But the ARG is important because it could tell us more about the characters, the world, and the story of, Rise of the Beast. And it's not the first time a Transformers movie has had an ARG. 2007 and Age of Extinction had ARGs too, and I'll talk about them very, very soon. If you guys want to stay up to date with the ARG, I made a video talking about it. You guys can go and check that out. We have potentially our first look at Waspinator in the ARG, and also I recommend following Delsor's channel since he's up to date with all of the ARG stuff, and he's a very good source to keep up with that side of the movie. But yeah, guys, that's it for this video. That's all we know about Rise of the Beast. All the leaks, all the rumors, all the behind the scenes, all the characters, and all that jazz. This movie got announced about a year ago, and since then we kinda learned a lot about the movie, and at the same time we kinda suffer because of the movie, because it's been waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's been painful. And as a way to commemorate the whole, making it through the first year of Rise of the Beast, I wanted to make a huge video in which we look back, we laugh, we cry, and we reminisce about everything we learned to stay up to date with Rise of the Beast. I feel like more cool stuff for the movies coming up really soon. We just have to be patient, and I know some people are really tired of me saying we have to be patient, but we really have to be patient, because what else can we do while we wait? June 28th marks, the original date in which this movie was gonna be released, and I'm willing to wager that if Hasbro and Paramount are gonna release anything, it's gonna be in that day. I don't want to say, oh, trailer on June 28th, because I don't want to be responsible just in case that doesn't end up becoming true. But I'm just saying, if they're gonna release anything, it's probably gonna be around that time margin. So just keep an eye out for that. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys really appreciate, me going through all of this and, staying up to date with the news for you all. It's very stressful, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to go into it, and I have to keep an eye on to work on all these videos and slowly update you on stuff. But it's all in good fun, and it's worth it in the end since you guys seem to enjoy this. Again, we came a long way from that first announcement trailer, and I'm glad a lot of you guys chose to stick with me ever since then. I know promotion for this movie has been kind of mixed. Some people really like the quiet, some people really don't like it. It's definitely been stressful, but at the same time I can't say it also hasn't been fun. Again, my videos might slow down a bit because of, outside circumstances around my real life. But I hope you guys will continue to watch and just wait out for whenever I, have new content ready. As always, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for supporting me and everything. This is not a goodbye. I'm not leaving permanently. It's just that I'll still try and get a video every week, but if there's slowdowns in between my uploads, then you guys know why. But yeah, I want to pass on the question to you guys. What do you think about Rise of the Beast? Do you think it's gonna be good? Do you think it's gonna be bad? And are you excited for it? I know a lot of stuff happened. I know some choices were made that some people don't seem to agree with, like, Mirage's vehicle mode, and maybe the potentially new look for Scourge. But I feel like there's just more out there to like and appreciate about the movie. At least so far. Who knows, maybe it'll be a big disappointment, but at the same time, maybe it'll be a big success like the BB movie. Most of the community just was very aloof to the movie and thought it was gonna suck, but at the end it turned out to be one of the best Transformers movies we ever gotten. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you all enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for sticking with me and watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. Here's to one more year of waiting for Rise of the Beast, and hopefully next year the movie's worth it. Anyways, bye guys. Anyways, guys, before we go, shout out to our amazing Patreons: Xavier the God, Stitch Productions, Scrub Lordo, Allspark Studio, Epic Nin, Lord Racer, Transformers Gears and Brawn, that's quite a long name, Optination Reviews, Joshua, and even bigger shout out to our even bigger Patreons, Jordan the Great and XNora23, who donate a amount of money. By donating to my Patreon, you get quite a few rewards. You get a shout out to you and your YouTube channels in the description down below. You get to collab with me in some of my videos if you so choose to. You can request some artwork from me, request your own videos, get exclusive early access to some of my videos and some other projects that I have in the background which I haven't shown yet. And I'm constantly updating the Patreon with brand new rewards and other stuff that I plan to do in the future. But keep in mind that this is entirely optional, because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Thank you guys so much for donating, it's so much appreciated, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys!